Money isn't about math, it's about meaning. It's not just dollars in the bank, it's beliefs in your heart. Today, on Money 911, we're diving into a beautiful truth that your financial life will rise to meet the level of your mindset. Our guest, Joyce Marter, is a licensed psychotherapist, certified speaking professional, and the award winning author of The Financial Mindset Fix. She's been featured on CNN, MTV, and the Wall Street Journal, and her work has touched countless lives by revealing one powerful truth. When you heal your relationship with yourself, you heal your relationship with money. This isn't just a conversation about wealth, it's about worth. It's about breaking free from fear, rewriting the inner script that says, not enough, and stepping into a life of overflowing with possibility, purpose, and peace. All right. Well, Joyce, it's an honor to have you here with us today.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for having me, Kris.
And I really, really like this conversation because I'm really on the money DNA, and money is just an energy and how people think. And it's such a good conversation for everybody to take a moment out and listen to. It's not just about math, it's about meaning and not dollars in the bank. So there's an awakening. So many people think or they believe that financial security only comes from working harder, right? What is the first step to realizing abundance is an inside job?
Oh my goodness. I think the first step is shifting our mindset from scarcity to abundance. So when we have a scarcity mindset, that's rooted in fear and lack, and it's especially common during times of economic uncertainty like we're experiencing today. So people worry about their investments going down, they worry about the real estate market crashing, worried that they might lose their job with the rise of AI and there won't be enough positions available. And so all of that sort of facilitates fear and competition. Where an abundant mindset is the idea that we have an internal locus of control rather than external. And we can, through our way of viewing things, welcome bounty. So it's instead of seeing the roadblocks and the challenges, it's being open to all the possibilities that are unlimited and using problem solving and creativity and understanding that if you have a bigger piece of the pie, that doesn't mean there's less for me. When we have more, we can help more. And so when we expand our thinking, we can stop self sabotage and stop setting our own ceilings with self limiting beliefs.
It's so amazing. I mean, and I'm looking at myself for decades, right? That programming is in there, and the scarcities, and it's not a new phrase. Everybody talks about it, but they don't really know the depth of how to get in there and how someone can start telling themselves a new story and and more empowering. What is it they can actually do to start to shift that story?
Well, first become conscious of the story. So you said a couple minutes ago, I have to work harder to be financially secure or make more money.
Right.
And that's a belief system. And maybe that's something that you learned or others learned in their families growing up. So each of us has a money story rooted in our family of origin, and it may be shaped by culture, about our generation, and also religious beliefs and what our parents and ancestors went through. If they went through some sort of great financial trauma, that's going to trickle down into our own unconscious, often belief systems. And according to psychology, cognitive behavioral therapy says that our thoughts precede our emotions and behaviors. So if we say things to ourselves like, I have to work harder, that becomes true by means of self fulfilling prophecy. We may only see ourselves as being able to work more hours to make more money rather than being creative and thinking about how we can generate passive income when we're not working, for example. So we have to reprogram ourselves using cognitive behavioral therapy and other techniques that I teach.
That's fabulous. It's healing from the inside out, right?
Absolutely.
And money anxiety grips us if we feel like we're in a storm, we can't escape. And the trap is really subtle. People can fall into that without even really realizing, and all of a sudden they're there because they haven't really paid attention. What is it? What's your favorite way to calm the storm or find clarity?
Well, my favorite way would include mindfulness practices. So I'm going to say that again.
Okay.
My favorite way would be to practice mindfulness. So, meditation, deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, anything that roots your attention in the here and now. So, when we connect to the breath, we relax our minds and our bodies, and we get out of our heads and into our senses. And this is helpful with money because it helps us get into a state of equanimity or mental calmness instead of ruminating about decisions of the past and second guessing them or worrying about the uncertainty of the future. We can ground ourselves in the here and now where we can be consciously responsive instead of emotionally reactive. So, when we apply mindfulness to money, we can make better decisions. We can be more fiscally conscious. And money anxiety is something that I think many of us deal with. And I often joke that we therapists specialize in our own issues. So when I was growing up, my father had been a very successful executive after growing up during the Great Depression. And he lost his job in the 1980s during the automotive recession
Mm.
and dealt with clinical depression and extreme money anxiety. And it caused a lot of arguments between my parents and tension and worry and fear, angst in the household. And he was unemployed for most of my adolescence. And I believe we all kind of unconsciously recreate the familiar until we become aware and choose something different. So I created kind of a similar situation to my father. I started a business with $500, 50,000 of student loans, ended up in cash flow hell after making a bunch of different mistakes. The bigger the business got, the more money was outstanding in insurance claims, and I couldn't pay my rent or staff on time. So I had panic attacks and insomnia.
Mm.
And like my dad, everything looked great on the outside. It looked like I had this successful therapy practice. And my dad lived in a nice neighborhood, belonged to a nice golf club, yet he couldn't sleep at night. And so I've helped so many clients who've really been on the brink of homelessness and extreme financial distress, even having suicidal ideation as a result of financial, bankruptcy or ruin. And when we practice mindfulness, we begin to know and recognize that our money is how we are, it's not who we are.
That is so good. And it really has a lot to do with like unresolved emotions like you're talking about from the past, the shame, the guilt, and what you saw your dad have to go through. And isn't it it's amazing that how much we mirror that, and really as you overcome that, you're overcoming it almost like a generational curse or something, right, for your family.
I believe that. And thank you for saying that because I do feel really proud that I was able to move through that. And it
Yeah,
wasn't without a lot of really hard work. I
right.
did my own therapy, I did my own coaching, and a tremendous amount of work using the tools that I learned in my clinical training to change my money mindset. And along with the help of many, many others, I was successfully able to sell that business for more money than I would have ever imagined making in a lifetime.
That's beautiful.
And I consider it my mission to share with others. And the first thing is that I think many of us suffer in silence and shame, like you said, and we don't talk about it. And we imagine everyone else is doing great. Well, I know as a therapist that we all have our struggles, including financial, even people who look great on the outside. And so the more that we can share our story or openly and ask for help and the support we deserve, the better it gets. So once I started telling people I was in real trouble, help came out of the woodwork.
That's beautiful. It's so true because the way that we judge what's going on is with those same classes that have fog from the past or stories, and and in my business and over 35 years looking at thousands of portfolios, and it's shocking because I look at the person and I'm like, well, they're a famous person, right? Or they're this or they're that, but
Yeah.
that's really the front. And what is it? 70% of people are living paycheck to paycheck right now. Even people that make 100,000, which used to be like a good number, but not
Yeah.
really anymore. And that money stress is so everywhere and everything. And it's not fun. And and so it really comes down to like living your worth, right? You
Yeah.
you you say your net worth grows when your self-worth does. So
Yeah.
how does someone that's undervalued, right, or don't even realize they're undervalued, it's still
Yeah.
foggy, start to raise both of those?
Well, that's something that I noticed in my clinical practice. As my therapy clients made progress in therapy, they started to earn more money and have improved financial health because they embraced their worth and put themselves out in the world with more confidence, assertiveness, and negotiation. And so we are all innately deserving. I'm going to say that again. We are all innately deserving of all that is good. And we are all deserving of financial security and abundance. And I truly believe it is available to us. And it starts with us wrapping ourselves with self love and self compassion and honoring what we've been through in our childhood and growing up and earlier life experiences, honoring our financial traumas and how they've shaped and molded us, and then opening ourselves up to receive the support that we all need and deserve. I believe in having a financial board of advisors, including a financial planner or wealth advisor, maybe an accountability partner, a good accountant, even 12-step programs like Under Earners Anonymous or Debtors Anonymous can be really helpful. And those are free and available online, even. So really it starts with knowing that you're deserving and beginning to become aware of how you think and behave with money. And it's not just the nuts and bolts. You mentioned mathematics. We all know we need to save and invest for the future and we need to
Right.
spend less than what we earn, but it's our psychology and sometimes our egos that get in the way. And we may live beyond our means, or we may be a doormat financially and be an under earner or allow others to compromise our boundaries financially.
Ah, that's so true. It's so true. And after 30 doing this 35 years, around year 25, I realized, you know what? I'm spending more time coaching people in their mindsets than filling out applications, just to what you're saying. That's why I have you here, because it's so important. And scarcity feelings can seem so real. Is there a quick mental shift that people can do to stay in an abundant mindset?
Well, one mindfulness practice that I personally found really helpful is called detachment, and it's healthy emotional separation. So, if you have something going on that's financially very scary or stressful, for example, I have a friend that is facing bankruptcy,
Mm.
then in the morning when you wake up, to have a short practice where you scan your body for any fear or yuck or negative feelings or negative thoughts, and you imagine putting them in a container and setting that container aside so that you are clear and open and able to do the work that you need to do to face the day, to face your challenges financially. And just remembering that no matter what happens, whether it's a foreclosure or a bankruptcy or a business closing, that's temporary. That's a situation. That's how you are. And it is absolutely fixable and can be transformed. And it does not determine your worth.
Exactly. And you say that a lot. Your net worth will grow when your self-worth does. It just jives. It just fits together, really.
Yes.
Tell everybody how they can get your book. This is because it's out and there's a lot of jewels in there they need to get.
Thank you so much, Kris. So, my book is called The Financial Mindset Fix, and it's available on Amazon. It's also on Audible. So, if people like listening that way, you can use a credit to get it. And my website is joycemarter.com, which is JoyceMarter.com.
Beautiful. Give somebody a real quick story of a client who shifted their mindset and now sees dramatic results.
Oh my goodness. I mean, there are so
I know.
many. There are so many. One of my favorites is a client that went through profound transformation that I discuss in my book. And she was a victim of domestic abuse in her childhood
Mm.
and came to me in an abusive marriage. And as she worked on healing and practicing self compassion and self love, she emancipated herself from that marriage. She went back to school. She got an advanced degree and she ended up moving away from her full-time salaried employment that was really constricting her life in a lot of different ways and starting her own company. And today she has many employees, and she's a wonderful mother. She is able to be with her three kids when she chooses, and she makes an income when her staff are seeing clients for her business. And so it took a lot of work on her culture, on her self-esteem, and also her ways of thinking about what was possible for her. And I think sometimes having a mentor or somebody that you look up to can really help. If
Oh, yeah.
you have a hero that you model yourself after, that can really pave the way and show the light for that.
Exactly. We need the example of how to do it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what you are in shifting these mindsets, and really appreciate having you here. Just give us one final note that you want to leave our listeners with right now.
Oh my goodness. Well, you are deserving of more and it is possible. So if you're saying, yeah, this is all nice and everything, but Joyce doesn't know what I'm dealing with,
Right.
I really want everyone to do this work. And the program in my book is empirically supported to improve not only financial health, but mental health and connected relationships. So it's really about holistic success. And there's a huge mental health, financial wealth connection. The better that we feel mentally, the more financially successful we're going to be, and the more financially stressed out, the worse we're going to feel. So I'm available and here to support you, whether it's through my book or digital course or coaching.
Fabulous. Joyce, it's really been an honor to have you here and show that the way is clear and you've led the way. And I hope everybody gets your books and listens to what you're saying. It's so important.
Thank you so much, Kris, for having me. And thank you for all the good work that you do in the world helping others with their finances. It's so
Thank you.
important.
Appreciate. All
Yeah.
right. Your financial life is not just a number, it's a mirror. And when you change that reflection inside, the numbers outside will follow. Joyce, Thank you for reminding us that every single one of us is worthy of a life of peace, purpose, and prosperity. Friends, it's time to stop living by limits of yesterday's beliefs and start writing the wealth story your soul has been waiting for. Because the truest abundance is already inside of you. It's just waiting for you to claim it. Thanks for joining us. This is Kris Miller, host of Money 911, Healthy Money, Happy Life. See you next time. I've created the Safe Money Blueprint. This is the same strategy that thousands of my clients have used to feel secure about their financial future. And you can get it free at healthymoneyhappylife.com/blueprint. There's so much to learn about healthy money. I hope today's discussion brings you one step closer to securing and protecting your future. So you can get started on the right foot, go to meetwithkrismiller.com and schedule your free financial fitness strategy session. Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to Money 911 so you don't miss our next episode, which includes health, wealth, and peace of mind.